Last night into this morning, Storm Nils caused destruction across southern France, leaving one person dead and significant damage in its wake. The storm, characterized by winds exceeding 160 kilometers per hour, struck Landis, where a truck driver was tragically killed. Affected areas now face widespread disruption, with over 850,000 households temporarily without electricity, according to Enedis and local authorities. Here is my take. Storm Nils has once again reminded us of nature's unpredictable power. While such severe weather events are not entirely new, their frequency and intensity are raising eyebrows and questions. Was France prepared for this? Were the warnings heeded? And how does this fit into the broader climate narrative? As we rebuild, let's also remember to fortify against future storms, or risk repeating yesterday's tragedies.
In 2025, X5 Group's Crossroad stores collected over 350 tons of waste, including 40 tons of batteries and 2 tons of toothbrushes, as part of their environmental initiatives. The company emphasized customer engagement in eco-programs like separate waste collection and reducing packaging. Additionally, Kindness Basket gathered more than 70 tons of food and essentials, aiding over 30,000 people. Clothing donations via Green Drop increased by 30%. Over 60% of stores now have waste collection points, with customers most active in recycling plastic bottles, aluminum cans, batteries, and soft packaging. Here is my take. X5 Group's efforts are commendable, showcasing how businesses can lead the charge in sustainability. Collecting over 350 tons of waste is no small feat, especially when paired with initiatives that engage customers and support those in need. However, there's room for improvement. Why not expand waste collection beyond stores? Partnering with more brands could amplify their impact. Still, it's refreshing to see a company that listens to its customers and adapts its programs accordingly. Kudos to X5 for setting a standard others should follow.
In Sailcard, Yamal Governor Dmitry Artyakov and City Head Alexei Taitovsky held a meeting to discuss development priorities, including housing construction, social infrastructure, road repairs, and beautification efforts. Key focus areas include improving living conditions for residents by relocating families from hazardous buildings and building new schools and kindergartens. The officials highlighted the city's transformation, noting that 813 families have already benefited from improved housing last year, with 82 new houses currently under construction. The meeting also emphasized plans to enhance road infrastructure and implement adaptive traffic light control systems. Here is my take. While the focus on housing and infrastructure is commendable, it's worth asking how much of this development is driven by genuine progress versus political optics. With Russia's ongoing military actions in Ukraine, allocating resources to beautify cities like Sailcard while supporting those involved in the special military operation feels like a calculated move to boost morale at home. The numbers are impressive: 82 new houses, 17 set to open this year, but it's hard not to wonder if these efforts are also meant to distract from broader challenges or align with a national narrative of progress and strength.
In Vienna on February 12, Russia's permanent representative to the OSCE, Dmitry Polyansky, accused Ukraine and its sponsors of working to undermine efforts by Russian and U.S. diplomats to resolve the ongoing conflict. According to Polyansky, Ukrainian officials have been actively sabotaging peace talks in recent days. This statement comes amid heightened tensions as international mediators continue to push for a diplomatic resolution. Here is my take. Dmitry Polyansky's remarks reflect Russia's growing frustration with what it perceives as obstructionist tactics by Ukraine and its Western backers. While the claim lacks concrete evidence, it highlights the deepening divisions in the peace process. The OSCE's role is crucial here, but if both sides are accused of bad faith, achieving progress becomes even more challenging. This diplomatic impasse underscores how fragile the situation remains, and how easily it could escalate further.
In Moscow, heavy snowfall and severe blizzards have made it difficult for small birds and rodents to access their stored winter food. Pavel Kvartalnov, a senior researcher at Moscow State University, explains that these animals often bury their food during summer or autumn and struggle to retrieve it in deep snow. The snowstorms also slow their movement, forcing them to seek shelter near human settlements, roads, and areas where snow is cleared. Species like gray partridges and mice are particularly affected, with many being spotted near roadways and urban fringes. Here is my take. This isn't just a weather story, it's a glimpse into how nature is adapting to our disruptions. The animals are essentially forced to camp near human spaces because the wild has become too inhospitable for them. It's ironic that while we've altered their habitats, now they're relying on us to survive the winter. This underscores the delicate balance between humans and wildlife, and how climate change is pushing that balance further out of whack.
During halftime of Guarani's recent match in Campinas, Brazil, fans and the club staged a symbolic funeral for their traditional rivals, Ponte Preta, after confirming their relegation from the top tier of the Campeonato Paulista. This came following Ponte Preta's loss to Portuguesa, which sealed their departure. The event was marked by dimming stadium lights and fans lighting up their phone screens, creating a somber yet celebratory atmosphere. Through loudspeakers, the announcer declared the news, sparking joy in the stands. This move highlights the intense rivalry between the two Campinas giants, with Guarani turning their rivals' setback into a public display of dominance in their local derby. Here is my take: what an extraordinary spectacle. The symbolic funeral of Ponte Preta by Guarani fans isn't just about football, it's about theater, ritual, and rivalry. By celebrating their rivals' relegation with such dramatic flair, Guarani turned a sporting defeat into a civic ceremony. This isn't just sports, it's a statement of dominance, a reclaiming of local bragging rights. The use of phone lights in the dark stadium was genius, participatory, emotional, and deeply symbolic. In a world where rivalries are often trivialized, this funeral reminds us why derbies matter. They're not just games, they're battles for pride, identity, and legacy.
Beijing has labeled Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen as a war instigator after she suggested that countries like Japan or the Philippines could be China's next targets if Beijing were to attack Taiwan. During a press conference, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian accused Tsai of being stubbornly pro-independence and called her remarks evidence of instability in the Taiwan Strait. He emphasized that Taiwan is an inseparable part of China and warned against any attempts to disrupt the unification process. Tsai had earlier expressed confidence that the U.S. would support Taiwan, but Beijing has consistently maintained its stance on the One China principle and has not ruled out using force to bring Taiwan under its control. Here is my take. President Tsai Ing-wen's recent comments seem less like a diplomatic strategy and more like a political gamble. By suggesting that other Asian nations could be next in line if China invades Taiwan, she is attempting to rally international support, and perhaps shore up her domestic mandate. However, the move also plays into Beijing's narrative of portraying Tsai as a danger to regional stability. While it's true that tensions across the Taiwan Strait are at their highest in years, Tsai's remarks risk escalating rather than de-escalating the situation. The bigger question is whether this kind of brinkmanship will ultimately strengthen her position or make her look like the very war instigator Beijing claims her to be.
Syria has made a significant decision to halt the entry of non-Syrian trucks loaded with goods into the country, a move that has been met with praise from Syrian truck drivers and owners. They view this as a fair decision after being unable to enter neighboring countries for over 14 years. The ruling has caused long queues at the Nasib crossing on the Syrian-Jordanian border, where dozens of Syrian trucks are waiting to load goods. Meanwhile, Lebanese truckers have faced similar challenges, with their vehicles piling up at the Al-Masana border crossing. Both Syrian and Lebanese parties are calling on their governments to protect their interests and rights. Negotiations are ongoing between Syria, Jordan, and Lebanon to address the consequences of this decision. Here is my take: this decision by Syria is not just about economics, it's a bold assertion of sovereignty in a region where such moves often carry significant political weight. By blocking non-Syrian trucks, Damascus is sending a clear message: economic self-reliance and protectionism are priorities. While it may alleviate some pressures on local industries, the ripple effects could strain relations with neighbors like Jordan and Lebanon, who rely heavily on cross-border trade. The situation highlights the delicate balance between national interests and regional collaboration. For Syria, this is about more than just trucks, it's a statement of intent to control its economic destiny, even if it means navigating tricky diplomatic waters ahead.
In Gaza City, a massive garbage dump in Furus Market has caused severe environmental and health crises due to overflowing waste, foul odors, and disease risks. The dump was created after Israel blocked Gaza's access to its main landfill during the recent war, forcing the municipality to find an emergency site near Omar al-Mukhtar Street. This location, however, is in a densely populated area, leading to public health concerns. To address this, Gaza City Municipality, with support from the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, has begun relocating the waste to a new temporary site south of the city, covering 100 dunams. The relocation aims to mitigate health risks and environmental damage caused by the accumulated garbage, which reached around 300,000 cubic meters. Here's my take. The story of Gaza's garbage mountain is a stark reminder of how war and occupation can turn basic necessities into crises. It's ironic that it took an environmental disaster for international aid to step in. The dump in Furus Market isn't just a health hazard, it's a symbol of the broader neglect and blockades that leave Gazans struggling to survive. While moving the waste is a critical first step, the real issue remains Israel's refusal to allow Gaza access to its rightful landfill. Until that changes, this temporary fix will only buy a little time before the next crisis looms. The international community must pressure Israel to end its siege and let Gaza manage its resources without interference. After all, no one should have to live in such squalor just because their leaders refuse to negotiate or allow basic services.
13 to 19%, 15 to 21%. 2023. 30 to 36%. Bring the inflation rate down to 5% by 2028. Here is my take. Whilst they've acknowledged the challenges posed by structural issues like rent indexing and demographic pressures, their decision to maintain a hawkish monetary policy despite rising inflation forecasts signals a balancing act between controlling. The fact that inflation expectations have been raised so significantly raises questions about whether Turkey can meet its long-term targets without further economic disruption. With global growth risks receding and the U.S. Fed's potential rate cuts on the horizon, the central bank strategy will be crucial in determining Turkey's economic stability over the coming years.
Recent developments in AI technology have led to the emergence of numerous AI-companioned products and services globally. However, this rapid growth has raised concerns and sparked controversies. In response, China's Net Review Department has initiated a three-part review to explore how to guide the healthy development of the AI industry. Additionally, internet memes and slang have gained prominence, but some have criticized their impact on language and culture. People's Daily has launched a series titled 3 Reviews on Internet Slang and Jargon to address these issues. Similarly, advancements in autonomous driving technology have been critiqued for potential overhaste, with People's Daily launching another series, 3 Reviews on Auxiliary Driving, to advocate for a more cautious approach. Here's my take. The rapid evolution of technology, from AI companions to autonomous driving, highlights the need for careful regulation to ensure sustainable growth. While innovation is essential, it must be tempered with responsibility to avoid counterproductive outcomes. The ongoing subsidy wars in food delivery and the proliferation of internet slang underscore the importance of balancing free market dynamics with ethical considerations. As China moves toward institutionalized platform governance, it sets a precedent for other nations grappling with similar challenges. Regulation, when thoughtful and balanced, can steer innovation toward positive societal outcomes without stifling progress.
Beijing has unveiled its 15th five-year plan, a comprehensive development blueprint shaped by nearly 40,000 social suggestions and 53,000 survey opinions. During the 16th Beijing People's Congress's fourth session, Yang Xiuying, party secretary and director of Beijing's Development and Reform Commission, revealed the meticulous process behind the plan. It involved grassroots research, expert consultations, and public participation through online surveys and seminars. The plan was designed to align with national goals while emphasizing scientific planning and consensus building. It also integrates district-level plans and regional cooperation with Tianjin and Hebei in the Jing-Jin-Ji area. Here is my take: this plan is a masterclass in balancing democracy and control. While it's commendable that Beijing sought input from diverse groups, including private entrepreneurs and young talents, the process remains deeply embedded in the government's strategic framework. The real question is whether this collective wisdom translates into genuine responsiveness or just another layer of bureaucratic oversight. In a city as symbolic as Beijing, the plan's success will hinge on its ability to navigate between grassroots aspirations and the capital's political imperatives. Let's hope this blueprint doesn't become just another talking point, but a roadmap for real progress.
Chinese President Xi Jinping has issued directives to strengthen foundational research in the country by enhancing strategic, forward-looking, and systematic planning. He emphasized the importance of supporting scientific researchers in pursuing cutting-edge discoveries and producing original outcomes. Speaking during a milestone year for the National Natural Science Foundation of China, NNSFC, which was established 40 years ago, Xi highlighted its role in fostering innovation and urged it to seize opportunities from global scientific advancements. He called for deeper reforms and expanded international collaboration to further China's goal of achieving technological self-reliance. Here is my take: President Xi's latest directive underscores China's ambitious push to become a global leader in science and technology. By emphasizing foundational research, he is signaling that innovation will be key to the nation's future progress. While the NNSFC has already made significant strides, the challenge lies in translating funding into breakthroughs. The focus on strategic planning and international cooperation is smart. It acknowledges the global nature of scientific discovery while maintaining China's competitive edge. With Xi's strong endorsement, the foundation is poised to play a pivotal role in turning China's ambitions into reality. Le Monde, a prominent French newspaper, has updated its login policies for digital subscribers. The new rules limit access to one device at a time per account, requiring users to log out of other devices if they wish to continue reading on a different platform. This change aims to prevent unauthorized simultaneous use and ensure that only the account holder accesses the service. Users are being prompted to create separate accounts or switch to multi-user subscriptions if multiple people share an account. The update includes warnings about potential security risks, advising users to change their passwords if they suspect unauthorized access. Here is my take: Le Monde's new login restrictions raise interesting questions about digital privacy and convenience. While the changes aim to secure user accounts, they also highlight the growing tension between protecting intellectual property and providing a seamless reading experience. By limiting device access, Le Monde risks alienating users who share subscriptions with family or friends, a common practice among digital readers. The move may ultimately push customers toward competing platforms that offer more flexibility. It's a bold step to protect content, but one that could have unintended consequences for user retention and satisfaction.
Dr. Leila Chouachi, a pharmacist and founder of the Kraft Center in Paris, has published a book titled Putting an End to Misconceptions About Chemical Submission. Launched on February 4, the initiative aims to raise awareness about chemical submission, a form of assault involving drugs, which can affect anyone, including family members. The book emphasizes that such crimes are not limited to young women in bars but can occur anywhere. Here is my take: Dr. Chouachi's book is a crucial step toward breaking the silence surrounding chemical submission. It's shocking how often these crimes against vulnerable individuals, like children and the elderly, go unnoticed. Her work reminds us that safety is everyone's concern, and awareness is the first line of defense.
Storm Nils, described as a force rarely seen, is causing significant disruptions across southern France. On February 12, 2026, the storm brought red alerts for flooding in Occitanie, strong winds in Aude and Landis, and avalanche risks in Savoy. Météo France has issued orange alerts for over 30 departments due to flooding and wind hazards. The Garonne River is at risk of significant overflow, prompting evacuations in Gironde. Strong winds exceeded 160 kilometers per hour in Landis, leading to power outages affecting nearly 900,000 households. At least one fatality and several injuries have been reported due to wind-related accidents. Transportation networks, including rail and maritime routes, are severely impacted. Here is my take. Storm Niels is a stark reminder of nature's unpredictable force. While forecasts warned of its arrival, the destruction it unleashed, flooding, avalanches, and devastating winds, underscores our vulnerability. The tragedy in Landis, where a truck driver lost his life to a falling tree branch, highlights the dangers of such extreme weather events. France's preparedness systems seem overwhelmed, yet again, by the sheer force of these storms. Questions linger: why are critical infrastructure and vulnerable populations not better protected? And will we learn from this disaster to build resilience against future-related crises?
On January 24, 2026, Togo commemorates the 83rd anniversary of the Women's Revolt in Lomé, a pivotal moment in its independence movement. This event occurred during the early 1930s when Togo was under colonial rule, split between France and Britain after World War I. The revolt, led by Togolese women, played a crucial role in shaping the country's path toward independence, which was formally declared on April 27, 1960. Here is my take: the Women's Revolt in Lomé was not just a footnote in history, it was a bold declaration of resistance and resilience. These courageous women, often overlooked in narratives dominated by male leaders, wielded extraordinary power to challenge colonial rule. Their actions remind us that true revolutions are rarely led by the expected figures. As Togo marks this anniversary, let's honor their legacy by ensuring their story is told, celebrated, and remembered as a testament to the enduring spirit of resistance.